Alright guys, before we get started, obviously if you're going to be following me, there are going to be some files and folders that you'll need. In my Google Drive, I have created a full optimization folder. So in the description of this video, there will be a link to my Google Drive. Just go ahead and click that. That's going to redirect you to this Google Drive of mine. As you can see, there's a full optimization folder over here. It's just got a couple of customized folders that I've made that just makes life a little bit easier, and also you're going to be able to follow me. So just go ahead and download the full optimization folder, and then obviously there's just some other run rate programs that I use to set up my windows to get nice and brisk. So you can download the full optimization folder. It's about 635 megabytes. And then if you're going to be doing a fresh install like me, you don't have to. You could always just update your windows and just follow along. But if you're going to be doing a fresh install, I have put the latest drivers in there for you. So 528.02, it's quite an old driver, but in terms of multiplayer online gaming, it's got fantastic latency, and it's got very good 1% lows for older driver. But if you play single player offline games like me and you're on a GTX platform, I highly recommend 536.40. Very good average FPS, very good 1% lows, but that's enough about drivers. So yeah, just download the full optimization folder, and next time we chat, I'm going to be in my freshly installed Windows. Right guys, now that we're in our fresh install, there are a couple of things I like to do before I go ahead and update Windows. So you downloaded the full optimization folder. Just open that up. We're going to just drag some things out just before we update Windows. Clean up, guard mode, internet drivers, and then whichever driver you want to use. I'm going to install 536.40. I want to put the bits and highest performance power plan there, and obviously install the power plan. We can put the interrupt policy, MSI mode, and then Nvidia profile inspector. Yeah, and the rest we can do once we've updated Windows. So now that you've dragged all this to your desktop, go and create a new folder and call it programs. Boom. Okay, now what you can do is drag cleanup into programs, and then guard mode into programs, and then internet drivers you can put over here, and then we're going to be installing the drivers shortly. Let's start off with the power plan. So first and foremost, what you're going to need to do is just go to File Explorer, and then find C drive, go to users, and then whatever your username is, you're going to substitute your username into the little administrator. Let me just show you. So just go ahead and press edit. So now my computer is named Justin, so I'm going to substitute administrator for Justin. Okay, and then I'm just going to put save. And so now what this is going to do, once I run this folder, it's going to uninstall all the power plans I have on my computer, and it's going to install the bits and highest performance power plan, which is similar to the ultimate performance power plan. And the nice thing about it is the fact that it has core parking already, or already unparks your cores, because obviously it's part of Bitsum. So that's very cool. So just go ahead and run as administrator. There we go. So now our only power plan that we have is the Bitsum highest performance power plan. So now we're just going to change some settings here just to make our first bit of the install a lot simpler. Save changes, and then change plan settings. Okay, if you also are struggling with this problem, later in the video I'm going to show you how to put in all the other options. If you only have desktop background settings, sleep and display and battery, you've got all the other options missing. I will show you later in the video how to go ahead and put all those settings in. But for the time being, we're just going to work with what we have. So we're just going to put this on paused, sleep after never. Okay, that's great. display, never, and then battery, just leave it as supply. Okay. So I will go through later how to get all those options back, but for the time being, at least our power plan is bits and highest performance. So that's great. So we can get rid of this. Boom. And then next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go to programs and we're going to go to guard mode. And this is what I mentioned earlier. It's like a little customized folder. Instead of having to go to start and then search for a certain program, it's all the important parts of your computer I've got in this guard mode folder. So it just makes optimizing your computer a lot easier. So what I want you to do is just go and control select, so you can select a whole bunch. So press down control, then we're going to select view advanced system settings, turn Windows features on and off, task scheduler, system configuration, show hidden files and folders, services, edit power plan, device manager, what else, change user account control settings, as well as add and remove programs. So just go ahead and copy that, not cut it, copy it, and then paste it onto your desktop. Boom. Okay, cool. So the only thing that we're going to be needing right now is device manager and change user account control, and then we can also do advanced system settings and system configuration. The rest of these we're going to be working with just now. So in device manager, just double click device manager, and what we're going to do is network adapters. Just go ahead and on your Intel or blah 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 blah, as well as the Realtek, whatever gigabyte controller you have, just go and put update driver and then browse my computer, and then we're going to go to desktop and then just select internet drivers and boom, and then this is going to update your drivers to the latest driver. But sometimes you find if your laptop's a little bit older, automatically it's going to install older drivers for you. These are just updated drivers, so you're going to get better connectivity. And then you're going to do the same for the Realtek PCI. Just update driver, browse my computer, and then this is already directed at internet drivers. Just go ahead, next. And then just wait for that to finish. This thing is taking this damn ass time. Okay, fantastic. So you can close that off. And then what I always like to do is, before I get done with my Windows updates, just go to disk drives and select whatever disk drives you have. Go to properties, go to policies, and then turn off Windows write cache. Okay, and then for this one as well, same thing, properties, policies, turn off Windows write cache. Just potentially makes your driver a little bit faster. And then the next thing is we are going, other devices hasn't loaded yet, so I can't system of devices, sorry, that's what I was looking for. High precision event timer, just go and disable that. Boom. And then universal serial bus controller, just go right click on the first option there, go to properties, go to power management, and then unselect allow the computer to turn off this device to save power. Common thread in all my videos is you're never going to see me selecting power saving features. I'm always going to be switching off power saving features. And then does this one have it? No, it doesn't. And then USB router, just go to properties, go to power management, and then unselect that. Okay. And then for the time being, I think we are pretty much done with device manager. Okay, cool. So we can delete that. And then user account. So I like to just switch this off completely because I hate that little prompt that you get. So I like to just drag it to never notify. So this user, I can't stand this window. Okay, now that we're done with that, we can delete that. And then for I've done testing in the past. The best amount of virtual RAM in terms of performance is pretty much just set it to 8 gigabytes. So under performance, go to settings and then adjust for best performance. And then things I like to select is use drop shadows for icon label so your desktop looks a little bit nicer. Smooth edges of screen fonts. Show translucent selection triangle, and then show thumbnails instead of icons. And that's pretty much it. Apply. Cool. And now we go to advanced. We go to virtual memory, and then just switch off automatically manage paging file size. Select custom size, and then we're going to set it to 8 gigs, so it's going to be 8192. Just copy that and then paste. So it's initial size 8 gigs, maximum size 8 gigs. Set. Okay, we're going to restart Nano. We can just close this off, and then we can delete because remember, we've got a guard mode folder here. We didn't cut it out of it, we just copied it. So all these things that we're deleting now is already in our guard mode folder. And then system configuration, just go to boot, go to advanced options, select number of processors, and then just select your maximum option, press OK. I like to put no GI boot, so there's no spinning logo, or there's no logo and there's no spinning icon. Just looks a lot nicer and cleaner. And then just apply. Okay. And then exit without restart, and then just delete this over here. And seeing that we've already updated the internet drivers, we can delete that. And then if I install this driver now, this OBS is going to cut out. So guys, just go ahead and install your driver. The way I would recommend it is right click, run as administrator, do a custom install. Don't install GeForce Experience, only install the driver, and then unselect HD audio, and then just select clean install. Just go ahead and install the driver. And then once we're done with all these settings, what we're going to do is we're going to update Windows. So I'll catch you in the next portion. Right guys, so I just installed my driver, so I can go ahead and delete that. And then before we do the Windows install, what we're going to do, in the meantime I also restarted so that it applied all the settings I did via system configuration, as well as my virtual memory, etc. So next thing that we're going to do is interrupt policy. So just run this as administrator, and then what you're going to do is you're going to locate your graphics card. I've got a quad core, so I always set mine to because look, the thing is this can cause latency. So everything, all your computer's operations generally sit on CPU 0. So if you put it on any other CPU, remember, this is just to help with latency a bit. So I put mine, seeing I have a quad core, I put mine on core 2, core 3, and then thread 2 and thread 3. And now I'm going to press OK, and once I press OK, this is going to cut out the recording. So I'm going to cancel this. But what you're going to do is you're just going to press OK, and it's going to ask you to restart the device. Just go ahead and restart the device. Once that's done, just press done. You're done with this program. But for the purposes of this video, if I do this now, it's actually going to stop this recording. So I'm just going to close this off. And then next, what you want to do is make sure that your graphics card is running in MSI mode. So just go and select your graphics card. Find if it's got a little tick over here, it means it is running in MSI mode. What I like to do is just put everything on undefined, and then the only thing I put into high priority is my graphics card. So there we go, boom. And then lastly, with Nvidia Profile Inspector, guys, this is a contentious thing, but I've done tons of testing here. On a GTX card, the only thing that I find actually makes a difference to performance is, here we go, Nvidia predefined Ansel usage. So yeah, it says Ansel allowed. Just go ahead and select Ansel allow disallowed. That's the only thing that makes a difference to performance. If you're on an RTX card, there could be other options, but this literally is the only thing that makes a difference on the GTX card. Okay guys, so now that I'm done with that, I obviously need to install this because I couldn't do it because I'm busy using OBS. In the meantime, what we can do is, before we do that Windows update, just go to personalization, and I just find that Windows always looks a lot nicer when you turn the transparency effects off and put it in dark mode. So sorry man, I actually said that wrong. Transparency effects actually makes Windows looks nicer. Windows looks nicer in dark mode, but transparency effects could potentially kill performance, so I just switch that off. Okay, and then the other things that I like to do is just select show task view button. I switch that off. A search, I put that on hidden so you don't have that search box. Use an interest, turn that off so you don't have that there, and then this meet now I just put that on hide. And yeah guys, so now what you can do is restart your computer, and then from here what we're going to do is we're going to update Windows. Right, so I've just connected to the internet, so now what we can do is we can start with our Windows updates. So just head on up to update and security, Windows update, check for updates. And so now just let all the updates install, and once the updates have finished installing, then we're going to move on to the next step. But obviously this process is going to take a while, so I'm going to stop the video here, and then yeah, I'll catch you once this is done. Right guys, now that your updates have finished running, just go back into update and security, and if you've installed all your updates, just go ahead and select this until it goes gray, because you don't want updates running in the background. And finally, now we can start with the proper Windows install and optimization. So what I want you to do is, first and foremost, I'm not going to use Microsoft Edge, so I'm going to delete that, and I'll show you how to completely delete that. Get this off the taskbar, get this off the taskbar, and then I like to put my recycle bin over here. Okay, so in fact we don't even need add and remove, we can leave. Turn Windows features on off, we're going to use now. Services we're going to use just about now. And then go into your full optimization folder, and then just cut ISLC, Intelligent Standby List Cleaner. So you can cut it, and then go to your local disk, go to program files, and then you're just going to paste it into your program files x86. Okay, and then once that's installed, just open this up, double click Intelligent Standby List Cleaner. Okay, so what you're going to do here is you're going to start with start Intelligent Standby List Cleaner minimized and auto start monitoring, and then also launch Intelligent Standby List Cleaner on user logon. And then we want a timer resolution of 0.5, so just put in here, there we go, and enable custom timer resolution, select that. And then so the list size, put it as 1024, so that's a gig. And then free memory is lower than. So if you got 16 gigs of memory, you're going to put this to 8 gigabytes. So it's going to be 8192. If you got 8 gigs of memory, you're going to put this to 4096. I have 24 gigabytes of memory, so I'm going to put it 1200 and there we go, so 12288. But chances are most of you are either going to have 8 gigs. If you have 8 gigs, just make it 4096. If you have 16 gigs, make this 8192. And then once you have all those things selected, just go ahead and click start. So now you're going to see your Windows timer resolution is going to be a fraction under 0.5, which is ideal. And so it will be cleaning out your standby list automatically. So this we can just minimize, and we can just close this off, and go back to your full optimization folder. And now we're going to start installing the programs. So just drag this. I did include Discord here if you want to use that. Something we're going to install right now is DirectX Web Setup, as well as all the visual runtimes. Game DVR we can put there. GPU-Z, it's a very good little program. Inspector, we're going to use that just now. MSR Afterburner, Opera GX. I don't use Google. If you prefer to use Google, just go ahead and do that. QBTorrent is fantastic for downloading torrents, but I'm not going to worry about that now. I did include Steam here because I want to show you something in Steam. Throttlestop we're going to be using. VLC, Winaero tweaker we're going to be using almost right now, and WPD. The rest of this, you don't have to worry about the rest of that. Right, so first things first, go ahead and update your DirectX web setup. But first, what you can do is actually update your Visual Studio runtimes. It's good to have these up to date. So just go and install all, run as administrator, and then let this process go. It'll probably take about 30 to 40 seconds. So this is basically going to install all the visual runtimes that you need to run games and run any application that uses your GPU. It's good to have all of these installed on your computer just in case you get a MSVCP error or something when you're trying to open up an application. Once that's finished installing, you can go ahead and delete that. And then from here, what we're going to do is we're just going to set up DirectX Web Setup. So just run as administrator. I accept agreement, next. Don't install the Bing bar, so unselect that and just go next. And then look, this is going to take a couple of minutes, so I'm going to stop the video here and I'll pick up once this is finished installing. Right, now that DirectX Web is finished installing, just click finish there and you can delete that as well. And now that we've also finished off the Windows update, I'll show you what the cleanup folder is used for. It's very nifty. Cleanup, so you can just go in there into your first temp folder and you can just delete all your temp files. Just make things nice and clean and brisk. Next temp folder, just press continue, clean all that out, and then you can do disk cleanup as well. So just select system files. Okay, just make sure all of these are selected. Okay, this could potentially take a while, so I'm going to pick up once this is done. So just go ahead and clean up your driver, clean up your disk. So once you're finished with cleanup, what you can do is you can head on over to turn Windows features on and off, and then just select .NET Framework 3.5, unselect Internet Explorer 11, unselect Media Features, Microsoft Print to PDF, Microsoft XPS document, print to document service. You can switch off remote differential compression API support, switch it off or unselect that, and you can SMB, switch it off. PowerShell, if you use PowerShell, don't remove it. I use CMD, so I remove it. And then work folders, you can remove that. And then under legacy components, switch that on, open up the thingy, and then just select direct play, press OK. And then this is going to give you a prompt. So just let Windows Update download the files for you. And then this is going to take a while, so I'll catch you once this is done. Right, once Windows Features is done, it's going to prompt you to restart your computer, so just restart your computer. Once that's done, just go ahead and delete Windows Features. And now what we're going to do is two very cool programs. First, we're going to use Winaero Tweaker, and then you're going to use Windows Privacy Dashboard to clean out our settings. Oh, but in fact, before we get started with that, just run 7-zip as administrator, install it to your program files, close, cool, delete that, and then we're going to get to that just now, we're going to get to that just now, we're going to get to that just now, that's just now. So you guys, we're almost there. In the meantime, you can run a VLC media player, run as administrator, next, 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 install, cool. The reason I put VLC in here is because it's quite a nice program to run your music or even your movies. But also, because there's been a driver latency issue in the last couple of Nvidia drivers, I want to show you, in particular, show you a setting that I highly recommend you switch off. So finish that, and then just unselect these, continue, and then go to Tools, go to Preferences, where's Updates? Okay, well, let's get to Updates just now. Input codecs, hardware acceleration, decoding, it's automatic, just put that disabled. So this does cause some kind of friction with the latest Nvidia drivers, so it's best just to disable hardware acceleration in VLC. And then you can just save that and exit. You're done with VLC, delete that, and the VLC media player I like to put in programs. And then moving on. So now we're going to install Winaero Tweaker. Just go ahead and run as administrator. Next, just select normal. I accept. Next, next, install. Okay, and then just unselect that. Run Winaero Tweaker. Finish. So I absolutely love this program. I can't recommend it highly enough. So just get rid of this along the installation folder, and then we're going to put Winaero Tweaker in programs. No, we don't want to download the latest version. So just go to the little settings cog here and just unselect check for updates automatically, and then save settings. So I'm just going to maximize this over here. So in appearance, you don't really have to do anything there. Advanced appearance settings also. Behavior, what you want to do is ads, just disable ads in Windows, and then these last two as well, and just select I'll do it myself later. Disable error shake, definitely. Disable error snap, I like to disable that. Yeah, you can leave it on. Leave it on. Disable smart screen, can't stand smart screen. And then hibernation options, disable hibernation. It's shitty. Menu show delay, very cool. So if you install Windows, there's like whenever you work on Windows, there's a 400 millisecond delay. So let me just show you. Everything, like there's a 400 millisecond delay to when you open up the program. So now with menu show delay, you can make things look a lot snappier if you put it on 0. So basically there's no delay in animations in Windows, so everything looks a lot faster. Just say I'll do myself later. Power throttling, disable power throttling, I'll do myself later. Split threshold for server size, fantastic little setting here. So we're going to set it above a RAM amount, but let me just show you what it is. So open up Task Manager, and then let's just go down to Windows processors. So you see all these service host options over here. It just goes on and on and on. There's like 50, maybe even 60 service host packages. So now to get this down to between 10 and 15, what you do is you set above RAM amount. You don't have to work it out. Just click set above RAM, and then I'll do myself later. So now when you restart Windows and you go back into the Task Manager, you'll see that those service hosts are from about 50 or 60 options, it goes down to about 15. And what that is basically, in the old days when Windows was 32-bit, and you could only have a maximum of 4 gigs of RAM, so they used to package services together, and this is that. But since Windows 6 has become 64-bit, you don't need all these little service host packages. So once you set service host above your RAM amount, it actually eliminates most of these, which is quite cool. It frees up a bit of RAM. So I'm just going to set that above RAM, and then boot and log on. Disable blur on sign in. I just think it's a cool setting. It's pretty self-explanatory. And then I always like to have my Windows version on the desktop. I'll do myself later. Nothing else to do there. Context menu, it's this menu over here. This is your context menu. So things I like to add to my context menu is run with priority. So I'm going to show you how to prioritize games to automatic high priority via regedit. But if that for some reason doesn't work, all you have to do is go to your executable and then right click it, and now you're going to have the option to run it in low, below normal, normal, above normal, high, or real time. So that's a very cool little feature there. And then take ownership, very important. I'll show you what we're going to use it for now. And then, let me just show you File Explorer quickly. So as you can see at the moment, File Explorer is quite a mess. You got quick access, desktop, downloads, documents, pictures. You see this is quite messy. So now what we're going to do is we're going to clean out the File Explorer a little bit. So we're going to customize this PC folders. So I don't know anybody that uses 3D objects, so we're going to remove that. And then it's up to you if you want. I don't use music, so I'm just going to remove that. And then, yeah, so now at least looks a lot cleaner. Just to show you, it's taken out those options that we've selected to get rid of. So I'd actually recommend just closing quick access. It just makes your File Explorer look a lot nicer. Okay, and then disable jump lists. Can't actually remember what this is, but just go ahead and disable that. Disable search history. Yes, I'll do myself later. And then File Explorer, instead of home quick access, it's going to start off on this PC. So that's a very nifty. And then disable UAC, we've already done that, but just select that anyway. And then there is not look, I mean, the following things are just quality of life things I like to just implement. I always go disable shortcuts. So if you create a little shortcut to one of your games on the desktop, it's not going to say shortcut at the end, it's just going to be the picture of your game. And then also I like no arrow. Do myself later. And then the rest, yeah, that's pretty much that done for Winaero Tweaker. And next what we're going to do is we're going to use Windows Privacy Dashboard. This is an awesome little app. So just wait for that to open. I'm going to move that into programs so long. I just put all the program, when I install a program and installs a shortcut on desktop, I just put it in this little folder, programs. Just looks a lot neater. Right, so Windows Privacy Dashboard, I absolutely love this program. So in privacy, we're gonna like hamstring Windows opportunity to spy on you. So just go ahead and unselect all of these. It's just gonna optimize your Windows settings quite a bit. I'm gonna go through Windows settings just now, but at least this is making it a little bit quicker for you. Microsoft Edge, unselect all of these. And then services, unselect these. Task scheduler, switch them all off. It just streamlines your Windows experience quite a bit. It makes everything run a little bit quicker. So local group policy, you can switch all these off as well. because Windows tries to find a way to spy on you at every nook and cranny, every twist and corner. So guys, I'm going to disable all of these, but for some reason Windows doesn't function so nicely if you disable microphone as well as camera. So I'm going to leave camera on, disable everything else. Where's microphone? So it's microphone, so then just switch off all of these. So yet again, leave apps access to camera, and then let Windows apps access microphone, leave those on, everything else can go off. Okay, services, all these can go off. And then miscellaneous, lastly, just take those off. I don't bother with advanced settings. Blocker, we want to block telemetry, we want to block third-party applications like Skype, Bing, blah, 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 blah. And remember, we already paused Windows Update, but we're going to block Windows Updates over here as well. And then this is the real reason why I love this program, because now we're going to be able to delete apps that we can't delete via Windows settings. So once you go to apps over here, there's certain apps that you can't delete. Let me just find one. Microsoft Edge. See, you can't uninstall it, but over here you can. But the guys, I'm going to tell you one thing, you have to be very careful with what you delete in this section. So just double check everything before you just go and delete something. Just before you delete something you don't want to delete. So first and foremost, we're going to get rid of Cortana, Feedback Hub, Films and TV, because we already installed VLC Media Player, Get Help, Groove Music. You don't want to uninstall Command Center, Mail and Calendar, always get rid of. Yeah, delete Microsoft Edge. Microsoft Pay, I don't buy anything. If you use Microsoft Store to purchase stuff, maybe leave this, but I don't use it, so I delete it. Delete Microsoft People. I like Microsoft Photos look, so I leave it. Solitaire, get rid of that. Sticky Notes, get rid of that. I just leave Microsoft Store, because if you delete this, next time you install a driver, you're not going to be able to install the Nvidia control panel. So definitely leave anything to do with the Microsoft Store. Microsoft Tips, you can get rid of that. Get rid of this. Get rid of this. Don't delete Nvidia control panel. I don't use Office or OneNote or Paint 3D. Leave Realtalk audio control, or else your sound is going to screw out. I get rid of Skype, Snip and Sketch, Spotify Music, Store Experience Host. I just leave that because obviously it's linked to Microsoft Store. VP9 video extensions, it just makes certain games run better. Like I know if you remove this Returnal, the intro doesn't play so nicely, so just leave that. Media extensions, get rid of that. Web, yeah, delete that. I delete alarms and clock. I like calculator because I do a lot of benchmarks. Windows camera, I leave. Windows maps, delete that. Voice recorder, obviously I'm using my voice now, so I don't want to delete that. And then I don't use Xbox, so I get rid of all these Xbox apps, and you're fine. So just double check that you did not delete the Intel Graphics Command Center. Guys, it's vital. Don't delete Microsoft Store. Don't delete Nvidia Control Panel. Don't delete Realtek Audio Control. And then Store Experience Host and VP9 video extensions. Everything else is pretty much fair game. So now I'm going to delete those. And the cool thing is, I'm going to show you now, once you go into Windows settings apps, those things are not there anymore. They're not system protected, they're off your system. So it is very, very cool. We're almost done, guys. Okay, we're done with Windows Privacy Dashboard. So I'm just going to go straight into Windows settings now. So I'm going to show you how to optimize Windows settings. And we're going to start from update and security, work our way back. All right, just quickly, before we even get to that, I'll just show you in privacy. Now, because we've switched off all those settings via Privacy Dashboard, it's switched off most of these things, but we are going to go through these just to make sure it did switch off all these privacy concerns, because wherever Windows or Microsoft will find the opportunity, it will try to steal your data and sell it. So Windows Privacy Dashboard just gives you an element of privacy back. Element, emphasis on element, because nothing is completely private. Just leave camera, microphone, voice activation, notifications, we've got that off, account info off, contacts, calendar off, call history. I'm just double checking that things were switched off here. Okay, that's great. Agnostics. Okay, you can unselect documents, pictures, you can unselect that, videos, you can unselect that, and then file system. Cool, so privacy is done. Update and security, just double check that Windows Update is paused until it's grayed out. And then other than that, there's not really much to do here. Inside a program, I'm not going to bother with that. Okay. Search, just switch off the search filter, unselect Microsoft account and unselect work from school account. History switch off, clear device search history. Searching Windows, yeah, nothing there. Ease of access, just go and unselect that. Text cursor magnifier. Okay, just unselect these over here. Color filters, high contrast, narrator. This doesn't really make all that much difference, but we're just switching off just for the hell of it, just to make Windows as smooth as silk. Okay. Audio, let's just leave that. Closed captions. Closed captions, speech, keyboard. I don't use any of these sticky keys, so I'll just switch off all of these. Mouse, you can go to, yeah, we're gonna do mouse somewhere else. Okay, that was easy access gaming. Okay guys, this is quite an important part over here. So Xbox game bar, I'm going to be switching that off. It's really shit. Captures, nothing to do here. And just go to game mode. Just make sure that game mode is switched on. And then in graphic settings, guys, if you're on a GTX laptop, I highly recommend hardware accelerated GPU scheduling on. But this is the only place hardware acceleration should be on. Everywhere else it should be switched off. So in VLC it should be switched off. In OBS it must be switched off. In Steam it must be switched off. In Discord it must be switched off. If you are on an RTX system, maybe leave hardware acceleration, accelerated GPU scheduling off. But because I believe that the higher your system or the higher performance systems, actually you start getting diminished returns with hardware acceleration. But for GTX based systems, switch it on. So this is going to give you a prompt to restart your computer. So I'll restart my computer once I'm done with all these other settings. Okay, and then networking. In fact, seeing that we just did gaming, just minimize this, go to your local disk, go to Windows, and now look for System 32. So guys, when you run a game bar presence writer is always going to be running in the background, and it is a system protected file. But because in Winaero Tweaker we did take ownership to the context menu, we are going to nuke game bar presence writer. So when it's not going to automatically open up when you're running a game, which is pretty great. I'm pretty sure if you're one of my viewers, you probably know this very well already. But just in case. So game bar presence writer, just click on it again, highlight the whole thing. Don't delete it, just put 1, 2, 3. Oh, can't do it because it's administrator. So we're just going to cancel, and now what we're going to do is right click that, we're going to say take ownership, and there we go. Now we own it, so now we can rename it to Game Bar Presence Writer 123. Boom. See, so now because there's a 123 there, whenever you run a game, the Game Bar Presence Writer can't run in the background because it's not recognized anymore. It's now Game Bar Presence Writer 123. Pretty awesome. And then other than that, that's pretty much done. Okay, so getting back to Windows settings, we've got gaming covered, time and language. I don't think I need to show you how to optimize time and language. Apps. So we did delete a whole bunch of things with Windows Privacy Dashboard, but just go ahead and make sure that anything that you don't use, just get rid of it. So I did an offline install, so I don't have a whole bunch of junk installed. I do have OneDrive, so I'll get rid of OneDrive. Take a second. Oh, this video is already starting to get quite long. So yeah, this normally does take a while to uninstall. It's actually a bit of a pain in the ass. Okay, and then once I restart the computer, because I deleted it via Windows Privacy Dashboard, Microsoft Edge shouldn't be here anymore. And other than that, it's pretty clean in apps because I didn't install with an online account. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to optional features and then just uninstall what was it? Internet Explorer 11, Math Recognizer, Paint, uninstall Paint, Quick Assist. Don't if you use Notepad, don't go ahead and delete that. Open SSH client, you can uninstall. Steps recorder you can uninstall. Why is it not uninstall? Fax and scan can uninstall. Unless you use biometrics, you can uninstall Windows Hello Face. I don't like it. And then media player, we got VLC, so we can uninstall media player. And yeah, so you can just leave Notepad, Windows PowerShell, and WordPad. Default apps, I don't want Edge as my default app, so that I will install Opera now. Music player, we use VLC. Video player, we use VLC. And in fact, now that I am prompted for that, you might as well go ahead and install your browser. Guys, you don't have to install Opera GX. I just like Opera GX. It makes me feel like a gamer. I just like the look of it. Google Chrome can be quite boring at the best of times. So just install your browser. This is going to take a little bit of a time. Only 20 seconds to go. Almost done, guys. Okay, great. So I'll optimize this just now. I just wanted this to be installed so that I can finish Windows settings in one file swoop. Come on. This would happen when I'm recording, right? So just go back to Windows settings. Sorry man, that's a little bit annoying. Just go to apps, default apps, and then just change Microsoft Edge to whichever browser you installed. Switch anyway. Okay, offline maps. We shouldn't have offline maps here because we deleted it via Windows Privacy Dashboard. Just automatically update maps, just switch that off. Apps for websites, nothing to do there. Video playback, I just like to put that on optimize for video quality. And then on startup, you don't want anything on startup because it's going to increase your RAM amount as well as the processes that your CPU has to do to boot into Windows. So just disable everything over there. And that actually reminds me, just go to Task Manager, Startup, just make sure everything's disabled there as well. Okay, and now with personalization, let's go start off with the start menu, show app list and start menu. Do not show recently added apps because it's a little bit annoying. And then yeah, you can go out of appearance. Devices, I don't use Bluetooth, so I just switch Bluetooth off. Printers and scanners, don't allow Windows to manage my default printer. Mouse, just go to additional mouse options, go to pointer options, and enhance pointer precision, just switch it off, apply, okay. Touchpad, I don't use my touchpad, so I just switch it off. In fact, just to be certain, just unselect all of these before I go and switch the touchpad off. And then typing, I don't want any of this stuff bogging down my windows. Autoplay, I switch autoplay off, I don't like it. USB, switch it off. If I plug in the USB, I pretty much know I'm plugging in the USB. And then guys, lastly we get to display that we're done with Windows settings. So display, just go to advanced display settings, and then just make sure that your refresh rate is the refresh rate of your monitor. Okay. Notifications, I like to switch this off, but this always comes back on, so don't be alarmed if that's back on. Focus assist, I just like to switch all of this off. Power and sleep, we must get add in all those other options for power options. Battery, storage, tablets. Never use tablet mode. Multitasking, nothing. Switch it off. Okay, so we're done with Windows settings. So okay, we can delete that. Okay, so I'm just going to reboot my system so that all of those Windows Privacy Dashboard and Winaero Tweaker settings do get implemented. So I'll catch you once I restart the computer. Right, next we're going to be tackling services. So just go ahead and select services and just maximize this. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to startup type. So everything's automatic and it's alphabetic. So first thing that you can disable is the diagnostic policy service. I'm only going to show you the stuff that runs in the background. I'm not going to show you every single service you can disable because it can actually be a waste of time. Properties, disable. Boom. Next, all these Intel things are tracking and data collection except for graphics command center, HG, graphics control panel, and audio. Everything else can go. So Intel dynamic application you can stop and disabled. This is just going to help us save a little bit of RAM and CPU processes running in the background. Dynamic tuning service, you can stop that. And then properties disabled. Okay, Intel ARM management engine, you can go to properties, stop, and then disabled. And then Intel TPM provision, just go to properties and disable it. Okay, Nahimic, you can go to properties, automatic disabled, and then just stop that process. So what you're going to find is once you restart Windows, you're going to have a whole bunch of less services running in the background and processes, as well as saving a bit of RAM amount. That's why it's so good to disable a whole bunch of services that you don't need. Print spooler, unless you're using a printer, get rid of it. Go to properties, stop, disabled. Okay, and then sysmain. This is a little service that actually causes latency. It was for when Windows was still running off slow hard drives. It would create system cache for your often used programs. So technically they would open up faster. These days with SSDs, this shitty service actually just causes latency. So go to properties, disabled, and stop. Boom. Show hardware detection, stop, and disabled. Anything else? No. Push notifications, you can go properties, automatic, disabled, and stop that process. Apply. Push notifications, the second one, stop, and then disabled. Okay, so the second one you can't, so just leave that second one as is. Other than that, workstation, you can go to properties, stop, and disabled. Downloaded maps manager, properties, disabled. I'm not using Edge, so properties, disabled. Update orchestrator. Oh yeah, Windows search also causes latency. Just go stop and disabled. I'll show you another little trick that you can do, that because Windows search actually creates double entries for everything on your computer, so it causes extra latency. I'm going to show you how you can go about completely nuking the latency that Windows search service can start. IC and Auth IPsec keying modules. You can properties, automatic, disabled, and stop. Yes. Obviously, if you are using any Xbox apps, don't disable IPsec, because that's going to stop your Xbox from working. Windows image acquisition, you can go to disabled and stop. Apply. Boom. Connection manager server. Here's another Intel content protection. You can stop that and disabled. And once we're done with the automatic services, the only real thing that you need to do is just go and see which services are running automatically, even though they don't come up in the automatic category that you don't need. Credential manager, you can leave it. Intel content protection, you can just because there are two of those, you can disable it and stop. Apply. Okay. Intel capability licensing, it's not running, so it's fine, you don't have to disable it. Microsoft Defender, I will show you how to disable Microsoft Defender. I used to game on Intel integrated graphics, so I always disable Microsoft Defender by default. Store, install service, leave that. Network list, leave that. Plug and play, I always just disable this. Where's plug and play now? Can't find it now. Program compatibility assistant, disabled and stop. Okay. Network list, Microsoft Store. Yeah, I don't use Bluetooth, so for you guys that are using Bluetooth, you don't have to disable Bluetooth, but I don't use it, so It's an unnecessary service I don't use. Okay, license manager touch. I don't play online games, so I really don't need this service. If you do play online games, multiplayer, maybe leave that. But I'm a single player offline gamer. Wait, where is the anything I missed? Geolocation service, you can disable that. Why does Windows need to track you for no reason? Device association service, another useless service. Okay. Yeah, that pretty much covers us. Just want to make certain that all Bluetooth, Bluetooth support service. Yet again, guys, if you use Bluetooth, don't disable it, obviously. And that pretty much has us covered. BitLocker. If you're on Windows 11, if you later in the video, I'll link you to a video that's going to show you how to unlock undervolting. I highly recommend just disabling BitLocker. BitLocker is a pain in the ass. And if you do something and then you find yourself in the BitLocker boot loop, it's not fun. Right, so that pretty much has us covered for services, so I can delete that. Okay, GPU-Z, just run as administrator. Let's just install that. And the only reason I recommend GPU-Z because we're going to use it later for MSI Afterburner to undervolt. And also it's going to put your graphics card into the most PCI lanes that I'm not finding the right word. I'll show you what I mean. So I'm going to put that in programs for the time being. Okay, just select GTX 1650 or whatever your graphics card, and then just go to 3 lines and do not check for that automatically, and okay. Okay, so what we're gonna do here, you see bus interface PCI 16 3.0. So yeah, it's only at X. Potentially it could be X16 at 3.0. At the moment it's only X8 2.0. So by clicking on this little button over here and you start the render test, it's just going to bump it up. Oh, you see there, it already jumped up to 3 lanes. So it's just going to put your graphics card into the most lanes that it could potentially run at. It's just going to make sure that your graphics card is running at its full potential in terms of PCI Express lanes. For me, I know that's my maximum figure, so I can close this off. And that is us pretty much done with GPU-Z. Can delete that. Right, guys. Next, I'm going to be dealing with hardware acceleration. So we've already switched hardware acceleration on in Windows settings. We've switched it off in VLC Media Player. Another place where you want to make sure it's switched off is in your browser. So in Google, in Chrome, it will be those 3 little dots here. You press that, you go to settings, and then scroll down until you get to it. Hardware acceleration, just switch it off there. For Opera GX, it's under these settings over here. So I'm just going to switch off all of these in the meantime. I like everything to be as bare bones as possible. So I use my PC for gaming, not for anything else. No battery saving, hell no. So just bear with me. I know the whole point of me coming into my browser was to switch off hardware acceleration. And guys, the reason I say switch off hardware acceleration is, here we go, system. Use hardware acceleration when available? No. Because since the latest drivers, I think it's since 531 series, if you have hardware acceleration on in Windows settings, which does give you a little bit better performance. If it's on in Chrome, if it's on in Steam, if it's on in VLC, you could experience crashes. It's something about the DPC latency, or I don't know exactly what it is. It just causes conflicts. So yet again, the only place hardware acceleration should be on is in your graphic settings, but it's off in your browser. Steam, do I really need to install Steam to show you? But anyway, so in Steam, let me just install. No, it's going to take long. So in Steam, go under settings, find hardware acceleration, switch it off. Discord, it's going to be a waste of time me installing these apps. In Discord, just go to advanced, and in your advanced tab, you can switch off hardware acceleration. Trust me, your system is going to be running so much better if Windows settings is the only place hardware acceleration is on, because it can crash your system otherwise. Something I should have probably got into earlier is the Nvidia control panel settings. So just open up the Nvidia control panel. I don't like the notification tray, so I just I unselect show notification tray icon, and I enable developer settings. Adjust image settings. I just drag the slider to performance, and then I hit apply, and then automatically that puts all the options into the lowest option possible. Then I go low latency mode for single player offline games. It's very good to put on ultra, because it gives you a boost in 1% lows for DirectX 11 games. For DirectX 12 games, it does absolutely nothing. So if you play single player offline, put low latency mode on ultra. If you play online multiplayer, just leave low latency mode off, because this is going to give you input delay if it's on ultra. And then open GDI compatibility, I put on prefer performance. Open GL rendering GPU, I select my GPU. Then obviously preferred graphics processor, I put my high performance Nvidia processor. A power management mode, I select prefer maximum performance. Shader cache, I just put on unlimited. Texture filtering quality, put on high performance. Thread optimization, bit contentious, but I just put it on. And then I apply those settings. Set physics configuration, I select my GPU. Manage GPU performance counters, I select allow access to GPU performance counters to all users. But if I had to do that now, it would cut this OBS stream. So just use those settings. And then to optimize your Intel Graphics Command Center, I actually did this earlier, but something bugged out in my recording. So just go to power and just make sure all these power saving features are switched off. You're done with your integrated graphics. Right guys, and then what we're going to do now is install MSI Afterburner. So I have a separate how to undervolt your Nvidia graphics card or GPU video. I will link that in the description. I'm not going to cover undervolting here because that's going to make this video incredibly long. I'm just going to show you the settings I use and how I set up MSI Afterburner other than undervolting. So once you install the main program, it's going to give you a prompt for a rivet tuner. Just go ahead and set that up as well. This is taking a bit of a while. Guys, I promise you have no idea how long these videos take to make. Anyways, whilst this installs, let me talk a little bit of junk. Okay, so just click finish and then click finish, and congratulations, you have MSI Afterburner installed. So as mentioned, I do have a separate how to undervolt your GPU video. I will link that in the description of this video, so you're more than welcome to click on that and then watch that video. But I'm just quickly going to put in my settings. You know, I just don't want this video to take freaking forever. Okay. Let's just start there. Okay, so once you have MSI Afterburner installed, what you want to do is go to your start menu and then find Rivet Unit Statistics and just make certain that's open, because what's going to happen now is every time you open up MSI Afterburner, Rivet Unit will open up automatically with MSI Afterburner, and ideally you want it to start with Windows. So just go to your little cog over here and you're going to select start with Windows, start minimized, unlock voltage control, unlock voltage monitoring, force constant voltage, never check for updates, apply. Yes, it's going to restart. So just reopen that. And now what you want to do is, before we do anything else with MSI Afterburner, just open Rivet Unit Statistics, start with Windows, go to setup, never check for updates, and there we go, that's done with Rivet Unit, because obviously Rivet Unit is how you capture your statistics. So once you have all these settings nice, just go to monitoring. And guys, this is a common bug. So you're gonna find that you're only gonna have GPU temperature. Oh no, I'm talking absolute rubbish. So just unselect this. I actually made a video on this the other day, but sometimes when you install MSI Afterburner, it doesn't give you memory clock, GPU memory clock, and usage and temperature. Some of the options are missing, and what you actually need to do is just run a game for about 2-3 minutes and then come back into MSI Afterburner. Then all the options that you were looking for that were missing initially will be at the bottom over here. But anyways, so the settings that I use in game is GPU core clock, GPU 1 usage, and GPU in temperature, core usage temperature, and then because it's all GPU 1, what I do is I select on-screen display, on-screen display, and on-screen display, and because it's all GPU 1, override group name, I name GTX 1650 mobile, and then I copy that, and then I just merely paste it in here. So now everything that is my GTX will register as GTX 1650 mobile. Boom. Okay, GPU 1 memory usage, we want that on-screen display, override group name, we want that as VRAM. Okay. And then the next one that we want is GPU memory clock. Show on-screen display, override group name, we want to save that as VRAM. And then we're just going to move that up. Put that above, so now you got your clock and your usage label as VRAM. Next, I like to have my GPU power in here, so all I do is on-screen display, don't need to change the name. No. Okay, CPU temperature, just unselect all of these. CPU temperature, we want on-screen display, and whatever your CPU name is, mine is an i5 10200H, so now I'll just copy that, and then next what I want to do is I want usage as well, and that's also going to be under the same CPU name. So usage, on-screen display, override group name, and then I just paste my i5 10200H, and then I move usage to just above temperature, and then clock. And I unselect all of these shitty CPU 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You just want the main one, CPU clock, show on-screen display, override group name, and then you're going to paste your CPU name in there. And then this one, you want to be at the top of your CPU. Cool pajamas. Okay. And then CPU power, I definitely want that, show on-screen display. And then CPU power, I just put below GPU power. And then the next thing that I want registered is my RAM. So my RAM usage, show on-screen display, override group name, and I just put my amount of RAM. So it's 24 gigabytes, DDR4, and then my RAM speed 226 megahertz. Okay, and then lastly, just unselect this. I want my frame rate. Oh hell yeah! Show on-screen display, override group name. Just call it FPS. And then because I do a lot of benchmarking, I also want my average frame rate. So select that, show on-screen display, override group name, and I just call this average FPS. And then lastly, very importantly, I want the 1% lows. So I put 1% low above frame rate, but below average frame rate. And then I just select that, on-screen display, override group name, and then 1% lows. Boom, and we're done. So guys, I will in the description, if you want to learn how to overclock and undervolt your GPU, this video is already very long. I will link that in the description of this video. But those are pretty much my undervolt settings. My MSR Afterburner settings. Now we are going to delete the MSR Afterburner setup file. This we can drag into programs. Lastly, I think what we want to do now is just clean up the start menu a little bit because this looks pretty putrid. So just select the executable, or okay. So if you want to get these ugly yellow folders away, what you want to do is select the yellow folder and then right click the executable, go to more, go to open file location, and then all you're going to do is programs, delete 7-zip, delete OBS Studio because I have it in programs over there. I'm going to drag it into programs. Winaero, I don't want that in my start menu. Winaero tweaker, delete that as well because I got it in programs. I don't want Microsoft Edge in my start menu. Don't want my editor in my start menu. And now what you can see is the start menu looks a lot better already. So now you got an MSR Afterburner, just go and more, open file location, and then just cut MSR Afterburner, click on programs, paste. So now this MSR Afterburner will be in the start menu, but you can delete that ugly yellow folder. Same thing for River Tuna statistics. You can just cut that and then paste it in programs, and then just delete the ugly yellow folder. And guys, would you believe it? Our start menu looks quite nice and clean now. And then this panel over here, I typically reserve for my games. So I just unpin everything from the start menu, so that when I open up the start, it looks like this. And then whatever games I want as a little shortcut, I pin to the start menu, and then it's just one click away. Right guys, we're almost done. What we're going to be doing now is changing our registry. So this game DVR Registry Tweaks, just going to show you what's in it. Disable power throttling, but we've done that via Winaero tweak already. Network throttling, that's something new we're introducing. Game scheduling just gives you a little bit better performance. And disable menu show delay, okay, we've got that already. So you can just double click that, yes, and you're done with that. Boom. Okay, so next, what you're going to do, you're going to add some other other regedit tweaks. So just press Windows key and R, and then just type regedit. Okay, let me actually just get to computer. I'm already where you want to be. Let me show you how to get there. So this is how it's going to look for you. Just go to HK local machine, go to system, current control set, control, and then look for session manager. Okay, session manager, and then what we're going to do is get to memory management, and then just open it. Prefetch parameters, just create a new D word, and yeah, you're just going to merely type disable prefetcher. So capital D, capital P. Okay, and this is another thing, causes latency, just give it a value of 1. Okay, when you restart your system, prefetcher will be disabled. Go to memory management, disable paging executive, modify, just give it a value of 1. Okay, so inspector, it's a program that shows you and can actually switch off meltdown and spectre, which you only need spectre and meltdown protection if you're a corporation. The individual doesn't need that protection, and for all the CPUs it potentially can rob you of some CPU performance. So via regedit we are going to disable spectre and meltdown. So feature settings, that's already on 0. Okay, great. So what you want to do is create a new D word, and we're going to call this feature settings override. Okay, so feature settings override, capital F, capital S, capital O, and then give that a value of 3. Cool. And then create a new D word, and yet again feature settings. Sorry, it's been a very long video. Override mask. Okay, so feature settings override mask. Yes, so capital F, capital S, capital O, capital M, and then just give that a value of 3. Okay, cool. And then just furthermore, session view size, we can modify this. Just gives you slightly better memory management. And from 48, you're going to put it to 96. Boom. And then session pool size, you can modify this. Go to decimal, just give it a value of 40. And then you could do page pool size, but it doesn't really make a difference. So disable paging executive, give it a value of 1. Create feature settings override mask, feature settings override, and then change session view size and session pool size. Okay, cool. We've got all that covered. Prefetching parameters, disable prefetcher, we've got that. Okay, cool. Oh, and then earlier I did tell you that I'd show you how to disable Windows Defender via regedit, but this has been a very long video. So for those of you that are interested, I will link a video in the description because I don't want to make this video any longer. So now, once you've inputted all those settings, what you want to do is just restart Windows so that these settings can be implemented. Right, so I've just restarted my system. So let's just have a look at if Spectre and Meltdown is disabled. Yes, fantastic. Spectre and Meltdown is disabled, no protection. Cool. Moving on, guys. Seeing that we've installed all the programs that we wanted to, let's go to Autoruns. Just run as administrator, agree. And over here, you can just delete a couple of things that run in the background that you don't running. I don't have Microsoft Edge installed anymore, so I'm going to delete that entry. Just be very careful what you delete here. I don't want Opera GX to automatically open and update, so switching that off. At logon, I've already disabled that. Can disable everything over here. Don't delete anything, just untick it. Explorer, nothing to do there. I don't have Internet Explorer. Schedule tasks, So I've completely deleted Microsoft Edge. So I'm going to delete that entry for Edge. I'm going to delete this entry for Edge. And then everything, video pad, that's my editing software. Don't need that. Don't need that. Okay, and yeah, this doesn't need to run automatically. Services, is there anything that I'm missing here? I don't know, I need Intel capability licensing, so I'm going to untick that. Microsoft Edge Elevation, I want to delete that. Okay, Edge update, delete. And that's pretty much it done for Autoruns. You can put that into programs. And then that's going to bring us to Throttlestop. Guys, in the description of the video, I will link a video to how to unlock undervolting. I'm just going to cover the basic settings over here. Before you open up Throttlestop, just drag it to your programs folder. And now when you open up Throttlestop, it's going to create the ini file in your programs folder. So it's nice and neat. Cool. So over here, just unselect BD Pro Shot, unselect C1E. BD Pro Shot is a temperature ceiling, but via undervolting, you won't be hitting your temperature ceiling, so we won't need that. C1E is a power saving feature, you don't need that as well. Once you have those two unselected, just click turn on and click save. And then go to Fiverr. And over here, just makes we're going to be applying our undervolt. Yet again, in the description of the video, I'll show you exactly how to unlock undervolting in your laptop. So have a look out for that. But for CPU core, I'm just going to select unlock adjustable voltage, select 250 millivolts, and I know that my ideal settings are 155. Okay, and I want voltages to save immediately, so I apply. And as you can see there, I've got on my CPU core, I've got minus 155 millivolts. And CPU cache, you never want to put CPU cache more than 100, so just drag it to 99.6, because if you put it on 100, that means you can push your core lower down. So then apply, and then it's taken hold. That's fantastic. I don't need to do anything with turbo ratio limits because my CPU is a 10200H. It's just not strong enough to have heating problems. But yeah, once you have your settings and you know these are stable settings, then you can actually then we're going to create a task schedule, or we're going to create a basic task in task scheduler to get Throttlestop to run automatically every time you boot into Windows. So I'm going to show you how to do that quickly. So just open up task scheduler, and then just go to create basic task, and then just name it Throttlestop. Next, when I log on, not when I start, when I log on. Start a program, we're going to be starting Throttlestop, and then browse, and remember my Throttlestop ini is in programs, so I'm going to select my desktop, select programs, and then I'm going to select Throttlestop. And now next, finish. Now every time I start Windows, Throttlestop will start with Windows and apply my undervolt. But to ensure that Throttlestop doesn't pop up every time you start Windows, go into options, go to start minimize, and then minimize on close. So if you have an Nvidia GPU, select your Nvidia GPU, and that is pretty much it for options. Cool, and we're done with Throttlestop. Right, and then that brings us to our last optimization. In fact, we can delete task scheduler because we've done that already. We don't need show hidden files and folders. We didn't actually need that. Earlier in the video, I did say that I was going to show you how to add in those missing power options under change advanced settings. You see it's very bleak and bare there. So in the description, in the description of the video, we'll provide a link, but it's a link to this video, how to restore missing power options. So I'm actually just going to click in and I'm going to show you quickly how to do it. Okay, so all you need to do is go to 10 forums and then here we go, add or remove maximum processor frequency, add or remove maximum processor state, performance increase threshold, add system cooling policy. So, oh shit, there's actually something I forgot to put in Winaero Tweaker. So just open up Winaero Tweaker again quickly and then go to the context menu and then command prompt as administrator. Cool. So now we can open up command prompt as administrator automatically by the context menu. So, okay. So add or remove maximum process. No, we don't need add or remove. Yeah. So we're gonna need that. Add or remove. No. Add or remove system cooling policy. Yes, we're gonna need that. And then add or remove maximum. No. Add or remove adaptive display, USB selective, yes, link state power management, and wireless adapter settings. And then we're going to just put in add minimum processor state. There we go. So we'll start with add or remove minimum processor state. So just to add, just copy this. Say copy, and then right click, go to command prompt as administrator, and then just paste, press enter, and now you'll see in power options we've added processor power management minimum processor state. It's on 100. That's great. Close this off. So we can close this. There we go. Add or remove power. So add or remove power. Yeah. So just copy this under add, copy, and then command prompt, enter. That was power saving mode under wireless. Okay, cool. Link state power management, just go to where it says add, copy this, and then you can close this along. Press paste, enter, USB select, just copy this again, close this window along, paste. And then adaptive display, just go copy the add, the registry key, close this window, and paste. Why did that not come out? Okay, there we go. I pressed the extra key by mistake. Add or remove system cooling, copy, paste, and then add or remove maximum processor state, copy and paste. There we go, we're done. So now we can close the browser and go to edit power plan, change it. Oh, look at that, we have all our settings back. So wireless adapter, just put it on maximum performance, sleep, never, cool. USB settings, disabled, PCI Express, link state power management, off, so you don't want power savings. Minimum, I guess 100, system cooling, we want it active always. Maximum processor state 100. display, turn off display of the never adaptive display is off. Okay, great. So boom, and that is it, guys. As you can see, we've done all the optimizations that we need to do. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and if you've stuck until the end, I applaud you. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to smash that like button. If you have any questions, please hit me up in the comment section. If you're still watching, you haven't subscribed as of yet, now's the time to do so. It's people like you. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Cheers.